Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube interview. Today, we are interviewing the writer and creator of the fan film reaction that we just reviewed this week. It is called Mud's Mission. We are joined by Glen Wolfe. Glen, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
And I am, of course, joined by my lethargic mate down below, and that would be Zam. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. And it is late, so excuse my lethargic sounding voice.
Yeah, you look lethargic, dude.
Mm.
You don't have any pep in your step. Anyway, uh so what happened is Glenn has had a chance to see our reaction to the fan film, and of course we did the fan film reaction earlier. We're joined by Frank Parker Jr. of the Grissom line of Star Trek films. So but we decided we reached out to Glenn, or Glenn reached out to us, and we were just like, let's have a conversation. Let's just do a conversation about the fan film process for him and what he would like to do. Now, first, my first question is, Glenn, I know that you said that you had written this fan film, correct? Who was the director?
The director was Jim Von Dolteren, who has, I guess I should preface that with this episode is a reunion episode. So I'm not sure if you guys saw the original episode, which was called His Name is Mud. And Jim Von Dolteren played the captain, Captain McCann. And then he came back to do this episode. And since him and the main actor are friends, he wanted to direct. And I said, hey, great. Gave him the ball, let him run, and we all had a lot of fun.
Okay, so going over this fan, we'll kind of reiterate our impressions of the fan film, and then we can kind of dive into it. Um, we all gave it above average marks.
Yep.
We did feel it was a little. I want to kind of use the word. This is hindsight, kind of a little bloated. There was kind of a lot that I felt could have been cut, but it was still a pretty good premise. And ha- Harry Mudd's shenanigans galore.
Yep.
But still, it was still a pretty good adventure, pretty good romp. Nothing really stood out that was stood out that was incredibly bad or cringe or anything like that. So I mean, it was good. So just my question to you is, when you were writing this,
Yes.
what did the end product look a lot different than your starting draft, or was it kind of, did it evolve at all, or was it actually kind of what you originally envisioned it for?
Okay, so yes, it did evolve along the way, and the reason that is, and actually this will actually address your impression that it was a little bloated, and I cannot disagree with you on that. Um, as I stated earlier, this is a reunion show for our very first fan film, and when I originally wrote it, I just wrote the basic story, and when I started contacting people to you know be in it, word got around that I was making it, and 14 of the original actors in the original show came to me and wanted a part. So that's where we got into, maybe it's a little too long, maybe there's some extraneous characters that, especially if you didn't see the first episode, not sure why we put them in. But I gave everybody a chance to have a cameo, as a reunion. So your observation is correct that it might have had a few too many cameos, but it was a celebration episode, so to speak. Um, so anyway, the original draft probably would have been about 18 minutes long, and then once everybody got a hold of me and were willing to do whatever to be in it, that's how it kind of evolved to I don't remember off the top of my head, 24-minute length. So when I watched you guys' reaction to it, I was actually nodding my head, going, "Yeah, they've got a valid point there." But once again, it's a fan film. We're having fun,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you say no to your friends, especially when they were there for you when you started?
Mm-hmm. That kind of leads into my next question, is about what is since you said you had a bunch of friends and cameos and all that, what was your favorite like part of this fan, like not like your favorite part doing this fan film, what was your favorite part of this fan film that that you saw come from script to life?
Oh wow. I think, and I am so terrible with alien names, but Lexi Knight is the girl that played the lead female in it, and I don't remember the name of her race, but she's got the gold skin and is wearing the fez.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
It starts with an I. Dan actually knows it. Ithians
Iridians?
or something like that. I don't remember, but they were first seen in the episode Journey to Babel, in the TOS episode. But anyway, seeing her in her makeup and costume, and she's a joy to work with. I think
Peanut.
that to me was the best part of the film because it turned out exactly as I intended.
Okay. Yeah, the Ithanites. I looked it up while you
Yeah,
were.
yeah,
Uh,
that's it.
but yeah, no, that was actually pretty cool when she came on, and I'm like, oh, this is a mud mischief moment. I can tell, you know. So, um, so yeah, so I mean that's that's always the fun though when you get to play an alien, when you get to play a bad guy, anything other than the basic Starfleet officer doing the right thing. You always want to be that villain that just does the wrong thing. And as Zam would say, you need to cast the nicest person you know, because the nicest person you know will always play the best villain because they kind of just get to pretend to be the biggest a-hole because they can't do it in real life.
Wow, that's
It's
probably
true.
true. I
Yeah.
I, I agree. I
The
agree.
nicest people you know will play the best villains. Um,
Which is why I'm
so
going to be a villain in the upcoming Constar fan film.
no, that negates the whole point because you're not a nice person, Sam.
I think in the
Fair
business we
enough.
call that typecasting.
Well, that too.
But I just would like to ask that you said that this was a two-parter, but I'll be honest with you, the way you did this, it it felt very episodic in its own right. So you did you felt like you didn't need to watch the first part. You could just jump straight into this part and enjoy it for what it's worth. So I commend you on that. You did a good job on that, and did for being its own solo story, because some fan filmmakers we know and we're relatively close to, they're doing this sort of continuous storyline, but I always feel that that's a hindrance to your fan films. I mean, you might want some connective tissue to a degree, but Star Trek is renownedly known for being an episodic show, and being episodic, in my opinion, is the best way to go if you're trying to replicate that Star Trek series format. I know in most recent times with Discovery and Picard, they've made it serialized, but that the makers have listened to the fans, and obviously now with Strange New Worlds as well as Lower Decks to a degree, they've realized that episodic is what people love about Star Trek fondly, and I give you credit for that. That you have made that particular episode not feel too attached to the first part, which I actually had no idea that existed, or felt like I needed to know what that there was something before this. So that was pretty good. So
Well,
reg-
I'd like to
regarding
respond
Harry
to that.
Mudd, sorry, go on.
Yeah,
You-
I just want to thank you for that. That is what we do. Is we also are trying to do the original format, episodic episodes. And yeah, you didn't have to see our first Mud episode to understand the story of this. It would just help you have identified the cameos. So yeah, they were not connected. The story, you didn't have to see the first one to understand what's going on in this one. So I thank you for that comment. And that is what we're trying to do, is
No
standalone
problem.
stories.
Regarding cameos, though, what instead of like giving, I mean, this is me personally, I would just make some of your friends and family members, who wants to be in this, I'll make them more like extras. Then like that scene you had in the in the, it felt like a nightclub, but it also looked like 10 forward. You could have filled out maybe so many additional people who wanted to be in this as just maybe background characters in a nightclub or in a bar or something along those lines, to give it some like grandiose that they're in a sort of social environment, so to speak. That's just my opinion on that. But what is it with Harry Mudd that everyone feels that they need to exploit this character to, up to today? Because Discovery is obviously doing it. We have films. We know people who make other Star Trek fan films who use Harry Mudd. You're doing it as well. What is it about this guy? But I don't get it personally.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. For me personally, I like the Harry Mudd character because it reminds me of like an Inspector Clouseau, kind of a bumbling character. It's fun. I've never been a proponent of taking Star Trek and just having a bunch of battles, because the original series did not do that. The original series did some serious stuff. They did some lighthearted stuff. And they did some bad stuff, let's be honest. But I think I like Harry Mudd just because you can get away with almost making a comedy out of Star Trek, and it still fits in their universe. So for me, it's the lightheartedness, which I'm sure you gathered, whether you meant to or not. You laughed at a couple points in our episode, which was good because it's supposed to be light, and I wanted people to have a good feeling about watching it. There was no message to it. I wasn't trying to make some kind of point. We were having fun, and I was hoping that people watch it would have some fun too.
Yeah, he's definitely I would say, I wouldn't say full on grey. I would say dark grey character for sure. I mean, he might have some moments of retribution, tiny, but I do think he's more on the side of, scoundrel, but maybe who's not necessarily so macabre in how he does things. He just wants to maybe get away with things without maybe causing too much harm, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So yeah, I can see that. Obviously, the comedic elements involved. He is a grifter in space. Yeah, I do get it. I do like seeing some of that portrayed. I guess, but yeah, it was an interesting portrayal of Harry Mudd, considering I think in my opinion, even though how we marked it, and we did give it above average marks, it's probably.
Yep.
I think I said it was like my best. I think the best portrayal I've seen of Harry Mudd in the Star Trek fan film, because other people have tried it as well, and they've been very unsuccessful with it.
I give props to the actor for wearing a girl's shirt in the very beginning. Like that was 100% a lady's shirt. Like the way that shirt was
without
made,
a doubt.
100% that was a female shirt. And I'm like, I mean, I knew you guys knew, but I'm like, is that supposed to insinuate that he took that from somebody, or is that supposed to be like a futuristic style, like on TNG when when you had some of those episodes with some really weird? They thought the future was going to be really open chested. I mean,
and the cowboy hat, yeah.
And the credit for that actually goes to David, the actor. David chose that. So, yeah, like once again, not trying to make any kind of point. We just wanted kind of a piratey looking sleeve thing, and he came up with that. I'm like, hey, if you want to wear it, we'll shoot it.
I just didn't know if he got it off of a lady friend that he had there that night and accidentally put it on.
You can read into it anything you want.
So you tried to create some sort of mystery, didn't you? That was the whole premises of this particular episode. Is it hard to write a mystery, a comedy mystery, so to speak?
I haven't really tried to go too mystery with any of them yet. I guess if you're in the right mindset, it's probably not bad. But when I write all my episodes in about a 2-hour window. I just get an itch and an idea and I write it. So it depends on what mood I'm in, what I come up with.
Well, that actually segues into my next question was, where did what was the inception of this idea for this episode, this fan film?
Oh,
like what was that moment that you were like, I can make this into an episode, and then you just started writing around that part? was. I mean, I'm guessing it wasn't the very beginning, because normally when I come up with an idea, it normally starts like in the middle, and then I got to work my way out.
I think the point of where the idea ultimately came from. Well, David Whitney, the guy who plays Mud. He's been asking me for quite a while. If I was going to do another Mud episode, because he played Mud in my first episode. And then we got a lot of feedback from our YouTube comments about people wanting to see him again. So I think honestly, it's when I met Lexi, who plays the whatever alien is. I can't remember her name again. I'm so
Athelia,
sorry.
something like that. Yeah, I don't remember. I already forgot.
Yeah, but I met her through my makeup lady. Oddly, they were having lunch in a restaurant that I happened to walk into. And Michelle Reynolds does our makeup, and she saw me come in. She says, "Hey, why don't you come over and meet Lexi?" And so I met Lexi, and Lexi does plays and things. So she was like, she wanted to get involved in the Star Trek stuff. And so I'm thinking, what would be a good character for Lexi? And then, well, that's a character that, as far as I know, nobody else has brought into, that alien into their fan film. So I'm like, I like to do that, but I got to make it interesting. And since we have no background on this race, we can make her serious, or we can make her, comical, or whatever you want to do. So the freedom to develop that race was really kind of the inspiration for doing this. So getting her together with Mud, so that we have another alien race that's not just Vulcan or Romulan or Klingon, and just have fun with a race that no one has defined. So I think
Yeah, I
meeting
mean,
Lexi.
I like that actually. Yeah, that for me, I very much appreciate. Just with I mean, initially you are taking something tried and tested with Harry Mudd, and then you're doing a unique alien, which obviously nobody knows anything about. So it's very hard for us to grasp what the hell's going on. If you have a Ferengi there, like certain things could be easily to suss out, but having this particular creature, I had no idea what the hell was going on. Lawyer, fake lawyer. Yeah. So fair enough. That was a good call. If there was
Thank you.
anything you could change regarding this fan film, what would it be?
Um, I think what you pointed out, what in your critique, it is making the cameos fit more, or either shorten them or expand on them, so that you're not wondering, why did that person just kind of show up for no reason. So some smoothing some of that out. I think story wise, the story worked out the way I wanted it to, and all of the actors did a great job. So yeah, I think maybe just smoothing over. I mean, honestly, some of the cameos were written and put in the day before the shoot. So if some of them are rough, that's why,
Fair
because
enough.
somebody said, "Hey, I can be there," and of course, what that really is saying is, I can be there and I want to be on camera. So then I'd have to put in a some little quickie transition for them, because I do love all my volunteers, because we could not do this without them. So when they ask a favor of me, I do the best I can to accommodate that,
Hmm.
because this is a hobby. Everyone pays their own ways. We don't do crowdfunding or anything. So this is, out of my pocket. And if someone wants to come out and be in it, it's out of their pocket. I do feed them and such when they're there, but if they got to drive to get there, if they got to get a hotel for the night, unless they're a main character, I will help with main characters. But if you want a cameo, you got to pay your own way.
And where is there? If you don't mind me asking,
Um,
where was this filmed?
it's
Was it Atlanta?
No, northeastern Arkansas. Our sets are. We have two different locations for our sets. The bridge set is in Harrison, Arkansas, and then the rest of the ship is in if you want to laugh, Flippin, Arkansas.
A what?
Okay,
That's the name of the town,
flipping.
Flippin.
All right. So okay. So
And then,
I
sorry, Cheeto. Those are actual Star Trek sets.
I mean,
They're,
what
they're
areas.
yeah,
are sets?
2S era sets. Yeah.
Did you
Oh,
guys build those, or
okay.
is that ones that were built and just you guys were using?
Well, the bridge set we're currently using is James Cawley's old set, and then the ship set. Some of it was salvaged from the old Starbase studios, about maybe a quarter of it, and then we built the rest. And then we have a building that we call the swing set, which is where we build the non-ship sets. So like the K7 bar, that's in our swing set. And then if we, that was Kirk's apartment in one of our episodes, and then we had a moon base there for an episode. So that's the building that we put up temporary sets, and when the show's over, we take them down and build something else.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was very nice.
So I do love a good nod in Star Trek, but what made you want to do this on Starbase K7? Obviously, it's a big part of the Trouble with Tribble episodes, but like, is it just a place that you have fond memories of watching Star Trek growing up? Is it just because you wanted someplace recognizable? Why not K6? Why not Babylon 5? I mean, come on, we can.
Well, Babylon 5, for obvious reasons, it couldn't
Yeah.
do that. I think familiarity, for one, and I honestly wanted the Tribbles involved.
I mean, they do volunteer, so they do help out. No.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, why not K6? Well, because then I couldn't put the little comedic elements of the Tribbles being there, because everyone knows the Tribbles were on K7, and I don't remember the years, but didn't Spock say it'd take like 100 years to clean them up? So they'd still be there if you got there a year later or whatever. And I did have the chairs that were originally, well, it's not the original chair, but the original make and model chairs that they used in K7. So I want to be able to utilize some of my prop collection as well. So I think K7 for all those reasons. So I can use my props, so I can keep the Tribbles element in it. It's a comforting set, or nostalgic set. So all of the above.
Okay. I'm also a Starship fanatic, Starship class fanatic. So I'm going to ask the question that I ask tons of people: why the Constitution class? Obviously, I know it's not exclusive to this episode. Like, I know that it's probably a ship that's shown up in your fan films before, but like, why the Like, I am not a Connie fan. I'm not. I've never liked it ever. I like the Excelsior class because it's got more of that. It's more of a sleek frame and a sleek design. But like, is it just because it's the Connie class and that's all they really had back in the TOS era? Like, I mean, they don't, because I know they have more, the Axanar and stuff, or not Axanar, but the oh god, what is the Axanar class though? Centaur class. Anyway, so there's but I mean, like, why the Connie class? Like, give me your reason for the Connie class.
Well, two reasons. One is, Dan and I are trying to replicate the feel and look of the 1966 series. So you kind of got to go with that. And the bigger reason is because someone gave me the bridge. So why build one from scratch if someone gave you one? So, all I had to do was haul it down there, put it together, and repaint it. And, not a lot of work involved in getting that going. So, money.
Well, no,
Sounds like a lot of
more
work.
the exterior. I meant the exterior. Like, you could have used the interior probably for another, like, if you did a Dreadnought class or.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I guess because so my original reason was because we're trying to recreate the look and feel of 1966 Star Trek.
Okay, and that's perfectly legitimate. I always love asking people, like, because in all the TOS fan films, except for Frank, it's like Connie class, Connie class, Connie class, and I'm like, yeah, they had different ships back then, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did a Dreadnought one. We
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dreadnought. Yeah, I like the Dreadnought class.
So, the costumes, like, did people have them? Were they given them, or Would they have each person had their own costume? How did that pan out?
Costuming is 90% done by me. David Whitney did some of the mud costuming, and I'm now answering for the whole series now. 99% of the costume for the series is what I provide to them.
You have a lot of costumes.
Oh my God. Well, just on Nova's costumes, I have about 100. And then, I do a lot of thrift shopping. I joke that I should have called my studio a Goodwill studio, because I just thrift for weird outfits. So
Long
I
sleeve
probably
red
have
shirts, long sleeve gold shirts. Like, yeah, hey, I get it, man. That's
whatever. I mean,
go
pirate
for it.
costumes and all those silver outfits they had on in this episode. I probably have 600 Halloween costumes, I guess we could call it, because they're not all Star Trek, but I have about 100 Star Trek uniforms.
But basically, somebody can just come along, wear one of the shirts and just wear black pants.
Yes.
They're black pants and maybe some black shoes, and people be none the wiser. Fair enough.
Yeah. And I have
excellent collection, by the way.
I do have Anovos pants as well. So we try to dress them as best as we can. But yeah, the shirts for sure have to be decent quality, and depending on if they want to wear their own pants or not, we do let them do that.
Because when I just to go on a little tangent here, when I look at the outfits and the clothes and the costumes they wore in 60s Star Trek, and then obviously you see Star Trek, from Next Generation era, and now you see Star Trek today, is tailoring, tailoring itself. It's come a long way, when it comes to designing outfits and clothes. Like, it's incredible how, I mean, they look like casual T-shirts back in the day. It looks like something I would throw on just regularly, and now they've got more. There's nowadays, like, the outfits, they got more of that regimented look about it that makes it feel like you're part of a organization in space. But yeah, that's just me. Sorry, I apologize. That's just my tangent there. But I do like the retroness of it as well, because this is where it all began. And it's good that there are people like yourself who are still trying to make people remember that era of Star Trek, because everyone nowadays is focusing on Star Trek of well, definitely Next Generation, which I wouldn't say necessarily say is the current era of Star Trek, but it's probably the most fondly remembered era of Star Trek now. I would say that's what was surpassed the TOS era, because there's so much has branched out now from Picard and all of his colleagues since. But yeah, it's good that you're keeping old school Star Trek in people's minds. So yeah, good stuff, really good stuff. And just to remind just the little things, like just some of the applications and appliances that they're using as well, all from back of that era. I mean, those props, I mean, were they easy to get as well, or?
Some are pretty easy to find, and then some I make from scratch. But I'd say probably 80% of my TOS props are made from what they made them from. For example, there's a comm box that sits on the briefing room table. It's made out of an old Westinghouse radio. So if you know what you're looking for, I can pick them up for $2, and then paint them, put a little button on them, and it looks exactly like the one from the show.
I just go dumpster diving in Paramount's, dumpster, and whenever they start throwing old sets out, I just start taking stuff.
God, that'd be the way to go, right? Well,
I guess completely authentic.
The Picard Next Generation bridge now, where's that going to go?
They're going to find some way to use it next season. They're just going to find some way to use it. Instead of the Guinan's bar, it's going to be now, whenever they go to the holodeck, it's just going to be the bridge of the Enterprise D.
God, they went to Guinan's 10 forward so often in season 3, and not a Guinan in fucking sight. You would have thought they would have rehired Whoopi Goldberg just for a bloody cameo at least. But fair enough.
Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate it, and like I said, you guys' insight, I agree with all of it.
So
Who's
when's the
your
next
favorite
film
Star
coming
Trek
out?
character?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, who had the question?
Go
Favorite
with
Star Trek
Cheeto.
character?
Okay, I think I heard when's the next film coming out. The next film that will come out is not a Star Trek film. We shot a Stargate film, and that should be out
Interesting.
near the end of July, and we're working on a script that Dan and a friend of his, who probably shouldn't name right now, because they work in the industry, is where it's called Mother, and that's in the works right now. So that'll be the next Star Trek episode that comes out, and then later on this year, because I branched out a little bit to kind of have some fun with other film series. So we've got Stargate shot, and I'm halfway through shooting a short Jurassic Park film.
Oh, fascinating. Fantastic. I'm really
So
looking to see how you're going to pull off dinosaurs on a budget.
well, CG.
Yeah. Be
So
awesome. Uh,
so that's what
yeah,
we
I'm
got in the
I'm, I'm look
works.
I'm looking for some decent acting on that one, because I want people to honestly make me believe that they can see a dinosaur. You know what I mean? They got to
Okay.
really pull off. They really have to pull that one off. Like Laura Dern sort of style of acting there. I need. Anyway, that's just regarding that.
Okay.
Cheeto, your question on who's his favorite?
Oh, just some in closing, just a random little bit of trivia. Like who's your favorite Star Trek character? Period. Like all of it, all of it.
In all of Star Trek, wow. I mean, I'm a big fan of Q. But my favorite, like, Starfleet officer, I've always loved Will Riker. Don't know why. I guess because he's just so cool. Um,
We all wish we could be that cool.
Well,
but
he's in every show. He goes. He's in
I
every show apart from the original series.
yeah.
So
but
yeah.
I love Q's smugness. So I mean, I kind of like, I think Q. I haven't had the guts to try to pull off a Q episode, because you really got to nail that actor if you're going to try to do a Q episode.
Well, you can do a Q. You just don't have to do a John Delancey.
Yeah, I've seen some other people try it.
We watched a
I'm not
fan.
Well,
sold yet, but I'd love to do it.
We watched a fan film. It was a foreign fan film, but we watched a fan film one time. It's called Q. What was it? Q Quid Quo Pro, but it was with Q. It was with
it was a
a
Czech
Q.
fan film. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Okay.
in
it was a
Czechoslovakia.
comedy.
Yeah.
Czech
So
Czech Republic. Czech
or Czech
Republic.
Republic. I'm sorry, Czech Republic.
No, Slovakia has become its own country now.
That's
But
correct.
yeah, okay. So, but yeah, it was just to continue what you're saying regarding that. It was a really good fan film.
Okay.
It was a comedy, and I have to say that these people who make these Star Trek fan films, they don't do it in English. They do it in their own native language, even though they
Sure.
can speak English very well. And I have to say that they're arguably some of the best fan filmmakers I've ever seen. They made a film called Squadron.
I'm aware of that one.
That is superb.
Yes.
It was the best. I think it was for 2021. Was it Cheeto?
That
It was
sounds
our
right.
best
Yeah,
fan. Yeah, it
2021. I
was our
think we did
best
it in
fan. Yeah,
2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
it came number 2 in our top 10, but it was our best Star Trek fan film of that particular year, only beaten by a Mandalorian Star Wars fan
Okay.
film, which was
Yep.
absolutely superb. But in hindsight, right now, looking back at it, I might swap them around. Because it was honestly it was that good. But they also made this comedy where they had a female Q, and this guy falls in love with her, and I don't blame him because she was absolutely gorgeous and all of that. I can't remember if they had a kid or not, Cheeto. But it was it was the humor on it was really good.
Good.
These guys have got a knack for just doing good Star Trek fan films. Highly recommend watching them, because even though they're foreign, there's just something about them that makes them very engrossing, regardless of them not speaking English, and regardless of having to read subtitles. It's still very, very, very engrossing. So
Yeah, I have seen Squadron, love Squadron, and I'm gonna look for that Q one because I have not seen it.
yeah, no problem.
All right. So, Glenn, give us all the information. Where can we find you? What you already kind of said what your next project is. Anyone else you want to thank out there, especially your wife because she keeps on trying to call you. So.
Well, I do have to thank my wife because she wants nothing to do with Star Trek, but she lets me have my hobby. So God bless her. She lets me do what I want with that. And then of course, anyone that knows me knows half my kids are involved, and just we've had over 250 people in front of the screen. I want to thank all of them. But David Whitney is great. His portrayal of Mud, we've had him a couple times now, and he'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Jim Von Doltrin, I had a lot of production assistants over the years, love them all. I've had a lot of younger people come through that come through to an episode or two and then go off to school. They're always great. A couple of them actually got some uh, small scholarships for, like, they were going in communication and they had to apply for a scholarship, and because they had done some films, they actually got on the high list and got some money for college out of that. So that was good for them as well. So where can you find us? Facebook, the Federation Files, or Warp 66. I think we also have Wolf Reynolds Productions on there. If you don't need to go to Facebook to talk to us or whatever, go on YouTube. It's the Federation Files. We have 12 episodes of live action out and 10 cartoons. And yeah, take a look. If you like it, great. If not, hey, we had fun making it. And, I understand everyone has different tastes, so not everyone's going to love what we do, but we have fun doing it. And that's why we do it, because it's friends having fun.
Yep. Agreed. All right, and we'll put some links down below of the stuff, Glenn.
Definitely.
If you wanna send me some links over Facebook, I can get those in the description of this, and as well as in the fan film reaction of any of the
Okay.
stuff you want on there. But anyway, with all that being said, Glenn, thank you very much for joining us here today. We had a fantastic time talking about this fan film. It definitely it definitely is a labor of love. You obviously put a lot of time into it. You obviously put a lot of effort into it. And I mean, we love these fan films. Like, even though some of them don't get high marks, and which we said yours does get above average marks, but
Yep.
even the ones we don't love, we understand that they are labors of love, and these are things that people want. These are people's creations, and that they want people to see their stuff, good, bad, and ugly. So, always support fan film creators. If you've seen the Glenn's fan film and you like it, get over there and subscribe. What are you doing? Also, give them a like, leave a comment, tell them what your favorite part is of the fan film. As a matter of fact, leave a comment here. Tell Glenn, go over to Glenn's Facebook, probably it'll be a description. Let him know. Show your support. That's what we want. Zam, you got anything else to add there, brother?
No, just looking forward to the next fan film, and maybe in the future, Glenn, you can join myself and Cheeto and review somebody else's work.
I'd be open to doing that. Just let me know.
No problem.
Thank you guys for having me on. I said I thought your review was spot on. Thanks for the kind rating, and keep reviewing the films. And I'm going to make an effort to watch some more of your reviews. I've seen several, but I don't see every single one. But I do like hearing other people's opinions because of course we have blinders on. When we make it, we think it's great. But I'm also not delusional, and I know that there's room for improvement.
Yeah, make sure you go watch Menard too. Zam loved that film more than life itself.
I was a different man back then. Maybe you keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for our future review of Commodore Boone's latest fan film. I think you might enjoy that review.
All right. How we're talking about a week or so, or what?
When is it coming out, Gio?
It's 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be next week. I don't know. I have to look at the schedule.
But if you're if you're into other genres, we did a review of Ash from Evil Dead versus Lobo, who's part of the DC universe.
Yep.
I think that's one of the best fan films I've seen this year personally, and it came out 7 years ago. And we did that with Tyler Donovan from the Avalon universe.
Yep.
He reviewed it with us,
right?
And Jeff, who's part of Steve Harris's production. So
Okay.
they reviewed it with us, and they thoroughly enjoyed it as well. So
We are all
and Cheeto,
about
yeah,
cross contaminating fan film genres. We're all about it.
I have done it. I did a Star Wars crossover with
yeah.
Star
That's
so it was all right. So,
All right.
but anyway, thanks again for having me on, and I look forward to talking to you again.
All right. Well, everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you very much. After you go or before you go and do all that other stuff, please leave a like here, leave a comment here. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, because we do this to for your pleasure. But with everything and all that being said, we will catch you guys in the next video. Live long and perspire. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Thank you so much.